Good afternoon, good morning to wherever you are in the world, and I want to say a big thank you for joining us today. We have a very special session with Dr. Palafox, who's going to be taking us through Immunocal Platinum. For those of you who somehow do not know Dr. Palafox, he is our VP of Scientific Affairs at Immunotech, and he's also a Master and PhD in Biotech and Food Sciences. So he has studied in Mexico, Spain, USA, has over 15 years of experience and research related to antioxidants, functional foods, metabolism, biotech, and cellular nutrition, has actually published multiple scientific works as well. So we are very lucky, and he's got a lot of experience to share with us. But as well as I'll do, I'm sure Dr. Palafox can introduce himself a lot better. So I'll stop bothering you guys and I'll stop talking, and I'll hand over the floor to him. So thank you, Dr. Hugo. All yours.
Thank you, everyone, for the invitation. It's always a joy being here. So I hope we can have more of these kind of seminars as much as we can. So thank you so much for each one of you putting some time in your agenda to be with us. And yes, we are going to talk about Immunocal Platinum, and maybe some of you guys are already enjoying the product, taking the product. But what I like the most is to go a little bit around the premise behind the product, because once we understand that, we will know much better the impact and the purpose of the product. So in that sense, I would like to take you guys through our immune system, because all our passage, all of this time, we have this gift from evolution, which is our immune system. Our immune system is a spectacular machinery, very sophisticated mechanism to protect us, right? Especially after the pandemic, yeah, most people have heard something about strengthening your immune system, improve your immune system. But the thing is that the immune system is only one of our defense mechanisms. Probably it's the most famous one. And it's spectacular, but it turns out that we have two defense mechanisms that work together. In Immunotech, we knew about this. Actually, the second antioxidant defense mechanisms, the antioxidant defense mechanisms is our second army there. The immune system and the antioxidant defense mechanisms work together in a remarkable fashion. But there is a very interesting aspect. It turns out that the immune system cannot exist, cannot function properly, cannot work properly without the presence of the antioxidant defense mechanisms. We knew about this recently. And Immunotech and the pioneers behind all the science around Immunocal, they knew this about. They really knew about these kind of details, because if somehow we don't have the immune system, the antioxidant defense mechanisms remains. It's not dependent on the immune system, but the immune system directly depends on the antioxidant defense mechanisms. And that's wonderful. So which one of both defense mechanisms is more important? Of course, both are important, but knowing these kind of details, that's where you realize that the antioxidant defense mechanisms, it seems to be the most important one. But we don't talk about it. So we see the education programs at universities, we go to the literature around our defenses, we talk mainly about the immune system and a little bit about the antioxidant defense mechanisms. However, we have more than 100 years of research around that, because we understand that there is one piece in the antioxidant defense mechanism that is directly connected with the immune system, which is glutathione. Glutathione is the most important antioxidant in mammals. Not only humans, of course, but in mammals in general. We evolved to produce our own antioxidant. Glutathione, of course, shows several roles in our body, but it's the only antioxidant that we synthesize in order to help the immune system. Actually, our immune system consumes glutathione. That's what we have heard from Dr. Jimmy Goodman, for instance, that glutathione is the food of the immune system, right? So there is a strong dependency on that. The thing is that each decade, our capacity to produce glutathione is decreasing. That's part of aging, right? But of course, the intensity and how serious and how aggressive this decrease will be, it will depend greatly of your habits. What are you doing and what are you not doing? Of course, there is a small genetic factor there. But the thing is that as long as we are living each decade, our defenses are decreasing as well. We will see that. And there is a strong connection because this same behavior, we have seen this same behavior for the immune system. But it's because of the glutathione biosynthesis decreases, the reason behind this decrease in the immune system capacity to do proper work. As you know, the immune system is responsible for cell restoration, cell repair, to modulate inflammation. Nothing is repair or restore without the authorization of the immune system. But the immune system depends on glutathione. So everything is connected, right? And in this graph, we can see that around 100 years old, there is an elevation here. This is just an example to represent that a small fraction of the population, a very rare and a small fraction of the global population, they won the lottery, a genetic lottery. Probably any one of us know these people or families that shows great longevity. Now we know that behind that family, behind that person, they have this capacity to maintain the glutathione biosynthesis. That's a privilege. I mean, but it's very rare in humans. It's very rare. But the great news is that we have technology in order to simulate or mimic that behavior by a strategic supplementation. And that's one of the great discoveries we have so far, because we understood probably before anybody else that the trick is to provide precursors, right? To provide the building blocks so your body is capable of producing as much glutathione as needed, because the demand of glutathione is different in the different organs and tissues in your body. So for instance, if your heart, your lungs requires more glutathione, and if those cells in that region possess all the resources, all the precursors, they can build glutathione very easily. So the immune systems take place with repair work or whatever is needed there. So our own body regulates that, but we need to provide the precursors, provide the resources. So that's one of the great achievements we knew about it. And as you know, we have this spectacular product, Immunocal. I'm just going to mention it very briefly because this is like the foundation. This is the basis. Because as we know in this product, we have 9 grams of protein, but that's not the most important part. That protein is like the vehicle, it's like the vector in order to provide one of the most important precursors for glutathione biosynthesis, which is cysteine. But in this protein matrix, we provide a protected configuration for this amino acid, for cysteine. And that's how we call it bonded cysteine. Because in this protein, which is in the native form, not the nature, native form, we protect this system all over the past. So each one of your cells eventually gets very rich in cysteine. Once your cell is very rich in cysteine, it can produce as much glutathione as needed. All right? This is a remarkable discovery. Of course, we have these new materials in where you can see all the science behind, all the patents, all the monographs, all the detail. These are wonderful materials. I hope each one of you already have it. So you can see more details. Of course, there's a lot of literature supporting the product. We have different documents to support all this science and the history over the last decades. And this is one of the foundation of our company. And of course, with this product, we can ensure that all the defense mechanisms in a person are in the highest level, all right? So this is great. But during all our story, there was a moment in where we were putting a lot of attention on aging, because oxidative stress is connected with aging. Our immune system is connecting with aging. Glutathione biosynthesis is connected with aging. So everyone is aging. So when understanding all these mechanisms behind, we have to really understand aging. And especially when we see a person in certain stage in their age, elderly people, by statistics, we know that they show more diseases, more health challenges. Why is that? Why people in that stage in their life are showing that situations, right? And also another question was like, can we provide a very specific product to better attack that situation? Because this is the situation. We have several definitions for aging. Actually, I had the chance to study my last stage of my PhD studies in the Human Nutrition Center on Aging. So all the building was around aging. So long time ago, I knew that all the definition around aging are based on this phenomena. As long as we age, our defenses drop. As we mentioned it, right? Glutathione drops, the immune system drops, and automatically now we have more inflammation. We are accumulating inflammation. We show more inflammation. We see more chronic inflammation in elderly people. And that's the combo. That's the combo for illness. Your body doesn't have the capacity to deal with that much inflammation, DNA damage, more oxidative stress. Your resources to deal with that are decreasing. That's why we see in elderly people more health situation, health challenges, diseases, etc. But now we have a very peculiar scenario. And let me say in this way, now we have very young people that is very old. We have very young people that are exhibiting metabolic situation as a people that is 80 years old. It seems that we are accelerating aging. Just 2 years ago, I was in this international conference, and the topic was this: we are in this era of accelerating aging. We have so many data right now. It's so easy to find, actually. And we have been seeing this for the last 23 years. And in Immunotech, we were aware of that. Because now you can see people that is around 30 years old, 40 years old, and they are already showing osteoporosis, for instance. We are already showing very young people with cancer. We are seeing very young people with cardiovascular diseases expected from someone that is 70, 80 years old. So what is happening? What are we doing right now? We are missing something, and we need to react in the same way. During that event, we were discussing this. First, most of the population is not eating properly. Only a few people are dietitians, right? Dietitians are the only ones that really manage what is the correct and optimum nutrition, right? And the rest of us, we are just amateurs. Of course, if you study, if you learn how to build a healthy lifestyle, you take your conversation with your specialist, of course, you can build a healthy lifestyle. But the reality is that most people, they are not taking attention of what is proper nutrition and adequate nutrition. Most of people is not eating well. And then add this, we are abusing of certain ingredients out there in the food proposals we have around. We have a lot of inflammatory products, inflammatory ingredients. Also, we have a frequent consumption of alcohol, smoking, etc., etc. So we are eating so much stuff out there that looks like cheap and tasty options, but at the end, they are causing a lot of inflammation. So you are not eating well, but also you are bringing more problems to your body, bringing more problems to your immune system, right? That's what is happening. And then we don't exercise. Sedentary life. People don't like exercising. Sedentary life is the third factor for cancer and cardiovascular diseases. We don't pay that much attention to improve our sleeping, lack of rest, and we have chronic mental stress. Most of people around us are living in this way. A little bit of stress is fine. We need the stress in order to achieve things. Stress is good, by the way. What is bad is that we don't know how to manage the stress. And sometimes we have living under chronic stress, and chronic stress is quite dangerous. So, do you know someone living like this? Or maybe you're living like this. The thing is that you don't need to be a scientist or a physician in order to see that this is the perfect cocktail for accelerated aging. So we see young people living this way. And now imagine a person that is, I don't know, around 60 years old in the baby boomer generation, also living like this. And that's why we see all these catastrophic health scenarios. And the only thing I imagine around this scenario is that your body is incapable of dealing and cope with inflammation and repair. Your immune system is just incapable of restore everything. So we need to take action. We need to take action. Of course, the most important aspect is to build a healthy lifestyle. Of course. But in that process, we need to take action with a powerful supplementation, with a strategic supplementation, taking advantage of the science behind the supplementation. That's why this is something we knew in Immunotech some time ago. So we decided, and there was a great involvement of one of our pioneers, Dr. Wolf Draga. He was an anti-aging guru at the time. And because all of his experience, along with Dr. Bono's experience and Dr. Patricia Conchavan, they proposed and created a specific formula to cope with aging according to that needs. And that's why they developed Immunocal Platinum. Immunocal Platinum is like Immunocal with a higher impact. It's like a premium Immunocal, if you say so. Of course, regular Immunocal or classic Immunocal is terrific, it's wonderful. But in these scenarios in where we need a higher impact, like in this scenario for elderly people, Immunocal Platinum becomes the best option. Because this is what we find here. First is based on Immunocal. We have a little bit more of bonded cysteine there, just a little bit more in comparison with Immunocal regular. But then we have other two aspects there, two very specific ingredients there. Give me a second. The first one is that in the same raw material, in whey protein, we can find many things. But Immunocal is a special very special fraction from the whey, right? Very special fraction that provides all this spectacular effect. But in the same fraction or in the process, we found another a small fraction with a very interesting behavior. And we call it peptides, cytokine modulating peptides. These are little fractions of proteins that improves the reduction of the inflammatory response. Because we need inflammation. It's important, a little bit of inflammation, but I don't want chronic inflammation there, alarms all over the place. We need to reduce and modulate inflammation so the immune system can repair much faster. And these cytokine modulating peptides are included in Immunocal Platinum, so we improve the capacity of our body to modulate and reduce inflammation. That's spectacular. And also, these are peptides. These are from proteins. This is still being food. These are not something rare compound there. This is coming from whey as well. So these food dietary architecture in the product remains. So it could be easily part of your daily nutrition. Also, we have a second a special mix of ingredients there that we call it redox modulating factors. Dr. Boltrager, according to his experience, and now we have plenty of evidence about this, he saw that also during this aging process, it was a little bit hard for a body to keep this good balance in the pH of our blood, or keep a healthy acidity in our blood. So this redox modulating factor is a mix of citrates. It's a mix of minerals, but in a form of citrates. So our body has better resources and elements to compensate, to modulate, and better achieve this very small frame of a healthy pH in your blood specifically. Also, this will improve the health of your muscles and your bones as well. So we have these both ingredients. Of course, in that second ingredient, redox modulating factors, we have a small piece of creatine in order to stimulate a little bit the insulin sensitivity, which is also a little bit lost during aging. That's why we have a small piece of creatine there. But the most important ingredient there are the mix of citrates. So we have the Immunocal with a little bit more abundant cysteine, modulating, cytokine modulating peptides in these citrates. So we have a product that is more focused on aging. We have an Immunocal with a higher impact. And then we saw that this formulation is not only for aging or for elderly people scenarios. Any person in where it's required a little bit more emphasis and resources, Immunocal Platinum also is great. Actually, during some time, we were recommending Immunocal Platinum for athletes, for elite athletes, because they go to the maximum, right? They take their body and their immune system to the limit. They need to deal with a lot of inflammation. They need to cope with a lot of oxidative stress. So for them, Immunocal Platinum was a much better option than the regular Immunocal. Now we have Immunocal Sport, right, for them. But it's just an example, so you all know that in Immunocal Platinum, we have this Immunocal with a higher impact in those scenarios in where we are seeking for a faster results, or we have a specific situation in where, according to our needs or our health scenario, is where like, hey, I need something that is premium, that is we are higher reach. Immunocal Platinum is a wonderful option. So initially it was focused or recommended for the baby boomers generation, but now we know that this could be useful for anyone. For instance, I take Immunocal Platinum. If you are about 30 years old, Immunocal Platinum could be for you like perfectly. Also, so as a fun fact, something I knew during my studies is that the aging process we start aging, like seriously aging, from 80 years old. We are not getting younger from there. So if you are 30 years old or older, you are already in the process of aging. We are in that decline. But taking advantage of this kind of supplementation, of course, we can slow down the aging process. And also, metabolic speaking, we can rejuvenate ourselves, like literally. So it's fascinating. So thank you so much. I try not to be very technical, so everyone has this also information in a very simple way, so you can duplicate information and you can talk about all these fascinating products we have. Immunocal Platinum and Regular have been the star of the company for all of these years, and of course, these products will be the star for the oncoming generation. So thank you so much.